Hey, and we're live after the little hiccup on UCY.TV. This is Boiler Room Radio, and I missed about 9 minutes of the show already. So, just to introduce myself to anybody that's new to the network, I am Jim Funke. I will be your host for the next 50 minutes. And as usual, I have my cohort with me, Lance Musser from the East Coast. Good evening, Lance.
Hey, good evening.
Sorry, everybody, for the little hiccup at the beginning of the show. We had the network go offline for no apparent reason. Hey, yeah, we're actually live. Cool. Okay, so I heard us in the background. That's 30 seconds. So now we're pumping live to the network. Here we go.
Bad.
And we'll just jump right in since we already missed 10 minutes and some great Aussie. You guys got to hear it out there in UCY land, but I did not. So let's jump right in and do that Smoke'em's Market Minute. Sure,
absolutely. Today was a wonderful, wonderful day if you like to, for conspiracy theorists again. Dow down 41 points, extending its losing streak to 5 days in a row. And more than 600 points. So the S&P 500 fell 8 and NASDAQ lost 44.
And your 401k took a screwing.
And your 401k took a little drop today. And interestingly enough, you know how we talk about when the stock markets and stuff are bad, the mortgages are usually good because then they're pulling it out of there, putting it in. Bad, red, across the board all day. From it gave up what it got. Rates are still good. They were at 4.375 today. But everybody knows it's coming. And that's what the, one of my stories here. So that's the thing on your stock market.
Ooh, you got stories?
Well, a few. I just wanted to point on a couple of them.
All right.
Was that on
you hear February, that, ladies and gentlemen? Lance prepared for the show. He's becoming professional.
On February 7th, the United States will once again reach its statutory debt limit, meaning it cannot legally borrow any money.
Wait. Didn't we just have some people in Congress say the debt limit doesn't make no difference no more?
No more.
You know
and it
why?
Doesn't.
And tell people why. Well, never mind. Go ahead and finish your story. We'll get into that later.
Nah. Since the obvious option of cutting the spending to match the amount of revenue that the governments collect is off the table for some inexplicable reason, Congress will just have to pass a new higher debt ceiling to replace the current law. We know it's going to happen. Nobody's talking about a government shutdown, but you remember on the last one, we said, hey, come middle of February again, they're going to be talking about it. Nobody is talking about it yet. Everybody's just along the lines of, Jack Lew at Treasury. Hey, we've got to keep printing. We've got to, all these taxpayers that want their refunds back in February, it's going to kill us. So that money that, is being stolen from you, they're blaming it on giving it back to you and saying that they're going to run out of money earlier because of that.
Sorry, I had something caught my throat there.
Another one, interesting article that had to do with the finance, and this is actually written October 25th of 2012. It was in the Washington Times.
Oh, that's over a year ago.
And it says that on the March 4th, there is a very large probability that the real end of the world will occur then. And they were talking about the Mayans at the beginning because this was December 21st, 2012. So it would have been 2 months before the real end of the world. And then they said, now the 4th is when it is going to possibly happen because the doomsday clock will ring because the U.S. economy may fully crash around that day, which will in turn bring down all the world economies and any hope of a recovery for the foreseeable future. At least not over our lifetimes. Well, and yeah, they're mirroring this one back to the stock market crash of the early 1900s now, because they're saying this one's going to make the '08 and the other one look even worse.
Yeah. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of the world as you know it.
Well,
it's the end of the world as you... Go ahead, sorry.
It is. One of the other things that was interesting, and I know everybody's had to have heard about this by now, but it's HSBC limiting their cash withdrawals.
Yep. Talked about that this morning on Jewel Show.
Yep. So if, why would a bank start limiting withdrawals and start questioning them? And they've changed their policies now. They're not questioning them if they don't have to answer it.
Because they got no cash.
But yeah, that's kind of what everybody's hinting at is they're like, wait a minute.
They ought to be flush now, though, because they just printed all those new hundies. So they ought to be flush.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So that's all, on that front. I would like to read one last thing, and it's from The Silver is New, which I've quoted a lot of stuff from there. You've seen that. I've dropped stories online in the chat, quoted a couple of them on here. Mm-hmm. I want to read just a couple lines of this one I read today, and I don't know if you came across it. I work as a stockbroker for Piper Jaffray located in LA. What happened yesterday left me absolutely stunned in disbelief. This was last week. I manage the portfolios for more than half of our Richmond clients, and my bosses called me into the office and told me to cash them all out immediately. My obvious thought was that there was going to be a crash, but it was strange that he was so adamant about cashing them out. He clearly knew something, so I asked what's up. He spilled the beans and said, look, we're going into a currency crisis. Major banks are going to default in the next 3 weeks. The stock markets are going to go in a violent downward trend, not only here but all around the world. The currencies of the world are going to move in every direction, and there's no predicting which ones will be standing after all this is over. It will spill into the bond market here, and it'll be interesting to see what the Feds do. He warned whatever the Fed did, it wasn't going to help and not solve any problems. When I asked him who told him this, my boss said he talked to a buddy who happens to be an executive at JP Morgan. I asked what triggers it, and he said the Chinese trust default is going to cause a domino effect which will spill into every market and every currency in the world. He also said that this week, coming from the 27th to the 31st, which is 2 days, will have volatile trading, and that this collapse is imminent within the next 3 weeks.
Holy shit.
Now, it could just be, fluff that was thrown out there, but Silver is the New is generally been pretty reputable, at least on the stories. I did the research and Googled that Piper Jaffray's name and,
right.
Kind of looked into it from there. But again, he's talking about, putting dollars into precious metals, properties.
But you got to know anybody that was born with the name Piper probably got a big fat wallet already.
No doubt. No doubt. So that was interesting. You've got other people saying, no way, not till the end of the year, not till the middle of the year. So I don't, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. So I'm not,
hey man,
just passing it on.
What did you say the collapse date was? February 22nd?
This would be 3 weeks. I mean, the March.
No, I mean, a
4th,
couple, like a month or two
March.
ago, you were calling for a date.
I said at the end of February.
Yep.
We were talking about it. It was the government shutdown. And that's when we were talking
That's when they're going broke again, right?
And, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right.
And that's my market minute.
We're living in interesting times, people.
It sure is.
Eyes wide open. Let's let Scott run his lips for 2 minutes.
Hello, this is Scott in SI Hyperport. Here are the quotes of various items for today. First, dollar lending. The European Central Bank and 3 other major central banks will wind down their dollar lending operations. Their public claim is the improving market conditions. Yes, the stock market, the Baltic Dry Index keep on going higher and higher. Not. Next, it's unraveling. According to Gerald Celente, the Fed has no plan and is running blind. However, they have to do something because that is the only thing that is fueling the global economic growth. He added that like pre-World War I, we are seeing everything unravel around us. Next, FT recommends demand physical. The Financial Times that repeatedly mocked and ridiculed gold is now warning that the pixelated gold in the form of ETFs may break with potentially catastrophic results. The reason for their turnaround may be traced to Germany not being able to repatriate its own physical gold and the growing evidence that the Fed no longer has the German gold. Next, new political office. Obama has created a new political office. It will be called the Office of Political Strategy and Outreach. Gee, I guess Ministry of Truth would have been just too obvious. At any rate, it is illegal to spend federal money that has not been appropriated for a stated purpose. However, since when do laws mean anything to the liar and charlatan Obama? Next, citizen defiance. Those in power in the state of Connecticut are finding that their citizens are now ignoring their Marxist gun laws. When tallied, it was discovered that only 40,000 of the over 1 million guns in the state have been registered. They are now contemplating amnesty because their attempt to browbeat the citizens into registering their arms for future confiscation has been an abject failure. Next, ban on owning farm animals? Keeping even one farm animal in residential neighborhoods could soon be illegal in Michigan. That's because a proposed change to state regulations could strip property owners of the right to keep and raise small numbers of poultry or livestock. But my pig Sugar Lumps is the best watchdog. Next, stamp prices. The U.S. Postal Service raised the price of stamps from 46 to 49 cents. The hike is the largest increase in consumer postage prices in more than a decade. Perhaps there will be less love letters for my money in the mailbox now. Finally, please prepare now for the escalating economic and social unrest. Good day.
Yeah, if anybody's not keeping up with what's going on in Michigan, I suggest you get on YouTube and type in Baker's Green Acres. Because what they're trying to do to that man, they're trying to do to everybody now. Heads up.
You mean by the livestock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to kill off all of his hogs. They're trying to say that everything he's got's feral because it's not pink belly and white skinned. You know, that's because they're not genetically altered. They're natural. They're heirloom hogs. They're heritage hogs.
Mm-hmm.
But the state doesn't see it that way. They've been out to his house with armed SWAT teams for pigs.
Yep.
For pigs. It's ridiculous, man. This country is ridiculous.
It's moving in that direction.
You know, I didn't really have anything for today. We can listen to the Man Reno.
The Lee Camp one is much better.
Well, yeah, we can do that one too. I mean, we still got 40 minutes. So we can squeeze them both in here if you want to. The Man Reno one was pretty good. I mean, he's talking about the stock market and how it's going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and then, you know, the failure's coming. It's coming. These people can only take so much more money, and that's a fact. They can only squeeze this planet for so much longer before it's just done. It's got nothing left to give. Go ahead, Lance.
I was listening to the radio today, 790, our local AM station, and it was the Rush Limbaugh show because I like to listen to him just to hear his lies every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And the commercials that he was running, you know, obviously they're all sponsored ads, were direct and to the point about the stock market crash. The market crash, you know, by physical. These were, you know, big companies that were trying to get you to. This was on Limbaugh today.
That's ABC, right? That's ABC radio.
Now he owns his own network.
Well, yeah, he's got the Excellence in Broadcasting, EIB or whatever. But I mean, okay. So maybe he's got his own sponsors that he rolls. So go ahead. But what station were you listening to? Was it ABC affiliate, NBC affiliate? What?
Don't know. It was AMWNIS, which is the local talk.
Right on.
You know, political.
Okay.
You know, sign, if you will. But that commercial was in, you know, his broadcast. I was just like, wow, I can't believe they're blatant. But the guy it's one of those loud announcer voices. You know, we all know the stock market is crashing. So pull this out, you know, get out of your 401k, get physical. And then it was a plug, you know, for the company that wants to sell you all that physical. But you're even hearing it on, I guess that's pretty mainstream. I would consider that mainstream media.
Yeah.
It goes to more people than mainstream media does.
Right.
He does.
Right. He's got a plethora of listeners, and then he's got the podcast going out too. He's got a bunch of subscribers to that too. So, yeah, for Rush to be pushing physical, you know it's coming. You know it's right around the corner.
Of course, he's lost so many advertisers. He's probably willing to take anybody that's willing to pay him to be on his air. But,
right.
Drug addict.
Pretty soon he'll be the lead in for AJ.
You'd never know.
Anyway.
And one other thing that's in the financial world that I forgot to mention was supplies of this gas are running dangerously low. Natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
Natural gases have surged 252% since January 14th. I guess that was last year. So this is...
Say that number again. 252%.
Yes. Because unlike natural gas, propane, it's propane. I'm sorry, not natural gas, propane.
Mm-hmm.
But the natural gas prices are the ones that have gone up. And the propane supplies are just so low because of how you can transport them. And there's only 2 strategic storage locations in the United States. And one's in Kansas and one's in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And the pipes, the people that run the pipes, one of them from Canada and the other one, I think both of them come out of Canada. They're turning their pipes around so they won't flow in anymore, and they're not bringing any more in. So, it normally delivers 70,000 barrels a day, and they're cutting down to 50,000. So it's like they're purposely running us out of propane.
Polar vortex. People have been using a shitload of it,
Well,
and Canada wants to keep it for their people up there. They're freezing too.
Yeah, and if our people here, if you're relying on propane, watch out. You might want to start looking at another alternative source of heat.
You buy wood stove.
Yeah, wood stove, pellet stove, something like that.
Yeah.
If you're on propane, you might want to consider getting off of it because prices don't look like they're going down.
Build a fireplace.
Yeah, I got one in my new place. I love it. I've burned already half a cord of wood, I'm sure.
I've had a fire going all day today here. It's kind of chilly out today. We didn't get the below zero like we were supposed to. They're the single digits. So we kind of skirted the western edge of the big bush.
We are having 50-degree change from today to tomorrow.
Yeah, we did today too. I told you it was 66 degrees yesterday. When I woke up this morning, it was 11.
Yep. I left the house this morning and only needed a sport coat. And when I left, I needed my London fog and a scarf.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. And we're supposed to get anywhere from 1 to 6 inches tomorrow. Again.
Thank God you already got your cocks.
Hey, we got it.
So let's let Manarino run his gums for a little bit. This is like, we can shut it off whenever you say, he's about done.
I think I listened to it and it was about the 6-minute mark, 6:50, where he started repeating himself for the last 2 minutes because I think it was like 8 minutes.
9. Yeah, 8:57.
9, yeah. Yep.
All right. He's got some good info though. He always does. He's just got hard to take sometimes.
How are you today? It is Monday, January 27th, 2014. All right, people, we got to talk here because there's a very interesting dynamic taking place right under everyone's noses, and no one's talking about it once again. Let's just backtrack a little bit. Just before this correction that we've had in the market, I did video after video talking about why I believe we were going to have a correction like this. Please check my channel. Click that little head that's right over here. It'll take you there. While everybody out there was panicking as the market kept dropping, what was I doing? I was buying. Okay, I've gone over this. Look at my channel, traderschoice.net. You'll see I have 4 long positions there. What I am seeing right now is opportunity across the board here, whether you're into metals, whether you're into stocks and everything else in between. Let's talk about the dynamic that is happening as we speak. We're seeing this significant sell-off in emerging markets. It's no secret. We're seeing today pressure on bonds. We're seeing money leave the bond market. We're seeing some cash also leaving the paper, gold, and silver market. So where's all this cash looking to go, people? Okay, before I get there, let's talk about this. Today, at one point, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down almost 100 points. At the time I am doing this video, it is up about 25 points. I sincerely feel at this point that this correction is over. Now, the dynamic is simply this. You have cash leaving these emerging markets. You have cash leaving the bond markets. You have cash leaving commodities. It's going to look for a place to go. And in my opinion, it's going to go back into U.S. equities. You know, you'll follow these financial channels, and they'll never talk about this. I think the individuals on these channels, they just don't get it. They don't understand it, or maybe they do, and they want to keep it a secret. I have no idea. This is the same dynamic that you're going to see on one side or the other side. I go over this all the time. And this is how you stay ahead of the market. Again, everyone was panicking during that sell-off. I was adding to my positions on the entire way down. Before the market closed on Friday, I doubled all my long positions, again, that you can see listed on my site, traderschoice.net. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is 100% and it's written in stone. I am giving you all my absolute best professional take on this, period. Because I see opportunity here, people, that, I mean, seriously, and I say, you know, the markets are flashing red. When I said the markets were going to go down, well, now they're flashing green, and I mean green here. I sincerely believe we are going to see a rebound here. And just for those of you that may be interested, and I did post this on my site, because I get so many questions about this. When I'm buying a position or entering a position here, again, I trade the option, I trade the derivative. I am 9 times out of 10 buying in the money calls or puts with at least a 3-month out expiration. So, you know, I can allow my positions to develop over time. So none of this has shaken me up. In fact, again, as I always say, when everyone's really, really bearish, like in this case, I was a raging bull and I jumped in there and I bought all these long positions, period. You cannot follow the crowd, people. If you do, you will get slaughtered. The crowd, they're sheep. And they just march in any direction that the rest of the crowd is going, they get killed. Don't do that. Don't fall into that. Learn how to be a contrarian in many ways when it comes to this market. That's another fact here. So just follow the dynamics of cash in the markets, and you can always stay ahead of it. It's that simple. Again, I don't think anyone else talks about it, but this is, I guess, the mindset that you develop as a trader over time. And I've said this so many times, people, there's opportunity here that we've never seen before. Again, in the stock market, in the metals, which are at a fundamental bottom without any doubt. I've gone over this weeks ago. I've discussed this, and we need to be taking advantage of that, period. Now, let me just go over a few other things that I think are really, really important, because I've gotten a lot of emails about it.
Man, I'm getting ready to shut you off.
This correction that we've had here in the market, people wrote to me, hey, Greg, how do you know this isn't the big one? How do you know this isn't the big, market crash? It's another very simple concept that I've discussed over and over and over again. Watch the debt market, the bond market. That's where this whole thing is going to explode. It's the biggest bubble in the history of the world. It's also the greatest threat to humankind. I've got over it. That's where this entire thing is going to begin to explode. Of course, we may see a knee-jerk reaction, like the stocks might go down. You might see a knee-jerk reaction into these bonds, but I don't think it's going to unfold like that. The Fed is doing everything they can to keep these rates suppressed. They're continually buying assets. We know this for a fact. Mortgage-backed securities. Now, talking about that, we have the Fed this week. I don't care what they do. If they decide to cut another $10 billion, it's not going to matter. It's their forward guidance, which they're going to paint the rosiest picture on God's earth. So it doesn't matter if they cut or don't cut. I think the market is going to go up, despite whatever they comes out of their mouths. We're going to hear from the president this week as well. Another rosy picture. We've got earnings coming in here. Not so bad, people. So again, we have a market, in my opinion, that has over corrected here. And I think, honestly, we were at the bottom of a trading range when it comes to.
All right. He's starting to repeat himself. Lance, do you really think he's right? Do you think we're at the bottom of this correction, and that it's gonna? Come on. Give me your real shot.
No.
How much more do you think it's got to lose?
It's got to drop. Everybody was saying 20%. So get down to 12,000. When it gets down to 12,000, the Dow, we're really screwed at that point.
Where's it at now?
16, just under 16.
Wow, that's a long drop, dude.
Well, 600 of them in the last 5 days, 600 points. So it's going to take something that big. But remember when I was talking to my boss about it, to make a drop that big, it would take a 9/11 event, some world
Super
event,
Bowl
China,
2nd of February,
the Olympics, Super Bowl. But I mean, it's got to be something that it attacks us so we can get in somewhere else. But, and then that's Facebook. What they're going to say. Go ahead.
A friend of mine on Facebook that has a friend that works in the Jersey State Police. And they said that they've been running drills at the Meadowlands for the last 90 days, every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day. There's a Department of Homeland Security there, troopers, local sheriffs, FBI, various SWAT teams. I see something happening there. Just
controlled. Nothing happens by accident.
Did you see how the ticket prices are crashing?
The Olympics or the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Mm-mm.
Or maybe it was the Olympics. I saw something about it.
This is what I heard on the Olympics. So they said they had pre-sold 70% of the tickets, which still left over, I think 300,000 tickets.
Wow.
That were left unsold. So what they did is, let's say the arena was sitting 5,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
They cut it in half and they're making it sit 2,500 people. And now they'll be able to say they sold out their events.
Neat. That's cool how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just go in there and pull chairs out?
Well, they said that they guarantee that every seat will be filled for opening ceremonies and everything else, because it's just like when it happens in,
in the other prisoners.
Oh yeah.
Go sit in them seats.
In China. Yeah. In China. Get in there, fill them seats, make it look filled all the time. And they'll be dressing them up as tourists and
smile or we'll shoot you.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that's what you're going to see. There's with the cost of flights, the cheapest event was $35. The most expensive event was $1,200.
Yeah. See, right there. Look in the chat room. Look. Mr. Bond says right there, the ticket prices for the Super Bowl are plummeting.
Okay. So
I knew I saw a blurb about it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they were trying to get some just stupid prices out of them.
Well, so you got nobody's paying for the sporting.
Nobody's got no goddamn money. Who's got no money? You got to sell your kid to go to the game.
The Super Bowl tickets, I think, started originally at $1,200 or something. It was crazy.
I thought it was $1,600 or something.
Oh, was it? Okay, I knew it was a high amount.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I heard people talking about that 10 years ago. Man, a friend of mine had a couple kids. He was like, "Dude, I can't even afford to take my kids to a ball game, to a professional ball game." Mm-hmm. He said, "You know how much tickets?" And this was 10 years ago. He said, "Tickets are like $56 a piece, dude. That's a half a week's work, and that's not even buying hot dogs and shit."
I had season tickets for the Redskins for 3 years that I bought from a buddy of mine, and we would get the tailgate passes too. So those were $25 a piece to get into the buffet earlier. And I'm telling you, you would go up there with beer, tickets, everything else, $500 easily with the tickets, the parking pass. It was $80 to frickin' park. $9 for a beer, and you got to have at least 6 or 7 beers while you're there. So, and if you eat, who's got that kind of money? I can tell you, go to a football game. Go to a football game, and there's a distinct majority of the demographic at any football game. It's expensive.
Mm-hmm. But they expect you to rah. Buy a t-shirt too. Come on, man. We know you just blew $1,000 with you and your kid here, but buy this t-shirt, man. He really wants one. And you gotta have a ball cap. You gotta have a ball cap to match it. How much are they, man? $35 a piece.
What? I give you an insider one. Go to the last game of the season at any football stadium.
Third quarter.
Everything is 80% off. You go to the memorabilia store after the game. Everything is 80% off. I guarantee you, I've done it 3 years.
Oh, and the last touchdown of the Super Bowl. The last touchdown when the game's over with, you go to NFL.com and you can get everything half off.
Yeah, because they change all the patterns and stuff for the next year.
Right.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So what a scam. What a scam. These players making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they're all junk. I mean, they're all just garbage humans. Well, most of them. They're just garbage humans. They beat their wives. They fucking fight their dogs. It's just ridiculous, dude. I can't.
Let me share with you what happens when one doesn't out of that. I was listening to the sports radio this morning too on the way in. Mm-hmm. And there was some cornerback, I don't even know his name, on the Seattle Seahawks, but apparently he's a wild man and he's known for controversy, big
He was the one they interviewed at the end of the game, right? Running his mouth.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm the best quarterback in the game. You try that shit on me, that's what happens, man. Yeah, right.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. You pay these assholes millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. I'll bet that guy can't even spell attorney, because he's going to need one.
Well,
before the end of his life.
Well, this is how skewered media is to us, because after his press conference today, he was polite. He was complimentary of each team, his teammates. There was no threats. And the media wrote it off as it was a boring Super Bowl interview and, no excitement.
They want that controversy, man. That's what
they want. That controversy.
They're waiting for some linebacker to whip a gun out of his belt one day and just blam, shoot another player right in the middle of the field. They're going to love that.
All these anchors are going, please give us another false flag so we can stop talking about the Beeb.
Oh, God, Bieber. See, I promised everybody last week I wasn't going to mention his name anymore.
Oh, I said the Beeb. You don't have to.
Yeah. Well, that's a kind of a good segue. Let's go over here and click on this little Lee Camp thing. Lee Camp went on, if anybody doesn't know, he went on RT. I think it was last week. I don't think it was live today. But, went on there with Abby Martin and they kind of had a little, about 7.5 minutes to sit down. Mm-hmm. It's worth a listen. Yeah, it's worth a listen. Great. I think they did this Friday. Abby gets all tongue-tied.
Well, you guys, it's Friday, and as usual, I've been inundating with you guys depressing as hell news all week. So to lighten up the mood, I can't talk right now. My good friend Lee Camp, host of the Moment of Clarity web series, is here to break it all down. Hey, what is up, man?
Abby.
So, Lee, out of all the MSM's obsession with Justin Bieber last week, I actually was really happy to hear Congressman Harmon saying some really, really cutting things about the NSA. Let's take a listen.
I think at this point we should seriously consider not continuing
Congresswoman
Section 215.
Let me interrupt you. Congresswoman, let me interrupt you just for a moment. We've got some breaking news out of Miami. Stand by, if you will. Right now in Miami, Justin Bieber has been arrested on a number of charges. The judge is reading the charges, including resisting arrest and driving under the influence. He's appearing now before the judge for his bond hearing. Let's watch.
I mean, isn't it more important Justin Bieber's day in court than global unconstitutional spying, Lee?
I don't understand why you have a problem with this, all right? Justin Bieber is a national treasure. Not our nation, Canada, but still, he is a national treasure, and you can make fun of unfettered capitalism, Obama, the Pope even, but I will not stand here while you insult the Biebs, all right? That is a baby Elvis! We have to that face. That's a baby Elvis you're dealing with, all right? Of course you have to interrupt NSA stuff, mass surveillance of whatever.
Oh, man.
It makes
baby
sense.
Elvis.
It's incredible. It really is incredible. You know, as ridiculous as the media is for being infected with a little golden child here, isn't it really great that they're finally covering wage theft?
They are. They're finally covering wage theft because it's the Oakland Raiders. Cheerleaders. The cheerleaders. I don't know what it is about this one story that finally made them cover it. I don't know if it was the outfits. Well, hold on. So I realized what those numbers are, which they came up a little early, but what they are is I realized that people are paying attention to this because it's the cheerleaders. So I brought some stats for you, as you can see, and I made them in a way that Americans would finally pay attention. So there's 18.5 million vacant homes around the country, all right? There's 3.5 million homeless. So that means every homeless person could have 5 homes if we just gave them to them. And I think we should deal with it that way. I think we should tell the corporatocracy, look, let's give the homeless people 5 homes. And they'll say, are you crazy? And then we'll go, let's compromise. 1 home. How about that?
You
lost
me at cheerleaders.
Wait, no, I got
all those numbers again.
I got another number here, though. No, if you combine all the U.S. millionaire households, it's $50 trillion of wealth. U.S. millionaire households. There it is. See? Now America will pay attention to that number, right? Now they'll care. Okay? Now how much would it take to pay, the UN has estimated to end world hunger this year? $30 billion. And we have 50 trillion, 30 billion. The Koch brothers alone could do it. All right? Do we have that number in the graphic? I think we do. Did I bring that graphic?
Oh, there you go.
See?
There
now
you go.
Americans will care.
Now they care. Now they get it. See, this is what we need to give kids in school.
Exactly.
I mean,
they'll spread it around. They'll talk about it.
Wow. Incredible. Well, you know, it's amazing. Fox News covering those cheerleaders, the bouncing boobs. You just got to throw those numbers on the nipples, and then you're all good, Lee.
That's how it works.
You know, speaking of billionaires, have you heard about the real life Elysium being created in Nigeria? This is absolutely ridiculous.
Did you hear this?
It's all the rich people who are building their own little, own little hub that they can, when climate change comes down, when ish hits the fan, they'll have their own little terrarium. I mean, how do you feel about the apartheid 2.0 here?
Yeah, it's a fake island, which I think is great. When the devastation that you've created comes, you go off to your little fantasy world. They could call it, it's their own planet, Pluto, for plutocracy. They could have their own planet there. I think it's a great idea. And plus they put it there because the people are like living in squalor. It's outside Nigeria. The people are living in squalor, so that's easy workers. Those are disposable people, according to them, right? So that's easy. They work for nothing. That's why my clothing shop is actually in the North Pole. That's where I put it. It's in Santa's workshop because North Pole's melting. Those elves will work for nothing. So it's great.
Their earth will just be falling apart. They'll just be happy to have something to work on. Speaking of wages, though, let's go back to the Oakland cheerleaders again. I just can't get enough of that story. But there is
and America can't get enough of that story.
But there is actually fantastic news to report when it comes to wages, Lee. I have to play you this.
This, according to Oxfam, of the world's 85 richest people, is equal to the 3.5 billion poorest people.
It's fantastic. And this is a great thing because it inspires everybody, gets the motivation to look up to the 1% and say, I want to become one of those people. I'm going to fight hard to get up to the top. This is fantastic news, and of course I applaud it.
Are you?
What can be wrong with this?
Really?
Yes, really.
I mean, isn't it amazing that really just the 3.5 billion poorest people will just have to get the inspiration to be rich? I mean, damn. He just told us.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, even if you don't have bootstraps, even if you don't have boots, even if you don't have shoes. Some of them will strap water bottles to the bottom of the feet. So pull yourself up by your water bottles, okay? No, this clip actually is kind of inspiring because it shows that in this country, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, old, young, or even a sociopath. You can become rich like Kevin O'Leary. Even sociopaths can make it in this country. It's the American dream, Abby.
Apparently that's the only people who can make it are sociopaths teams.
Well,
which is really disturbing.
There's that.
And of course the 0.1% of the 1%ers are meeting in Davos, Switzerland this week for an economic forum. The one and only Goldie Hawn moderating a panel on how to alleviate your stress because really nearly causing the entire collapse of the global financial system is stressful, isn't it?
It's stressful. Sometimes, have you ever tried to get barbecue sauce out of a diamond tiara? It's very difficult, okay? It's very stressful. It is. But I also did read that they're doing some things to consider the underprivileged, the people having trouble around the world. Like during the hot stone hand massage yoga, they're doing the giving pose. So they're just to remember the giving pose, and the chocolate water fountains. Actually, the lifeguard they've hired is an underprivileged child for the chocolate water fountain. So they're considering the poor while they're there.
Oh my God! And of course, our favorite fat cat banker Jamie Dimon just got a raise despite owing billions of dollars in the company. But I think that he deserves it, don't you?
I definitely think he deserves it. Look, you're acting surprised. I mean, did you expect Tony Soprano to stop leading the mafia? No. You want a thug. You want a thug. If you're running a massive bank, you want a thug. That's who you go to. He lied to investors during the London whale scandal, and now they give him a raise.
Giving him more money. You got to pat him on the back for doing such a good job. He's doing such a great job destroying the entire economy. Thank you, Lee Camp, comedian, host of the Money with Clutter web series. Always amazing to have you
Thanks,
on.
Abby. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Thanks.
That's our show, you guys. Have a good weekend. We'll break this set all over again next week.
So that was Lee and Abby shooting the shit on RT. Now I got to tell you, the clip that they played of the jackass that said that the top 85 versus the 3.5 million on the bottom, or billion, billion. That guy, I can't wait to see him swinging from a tree by a short piece of rope when they find him running for his little island that they built off the coast of Nigeria. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to name that island once we catch them all there. I think they'll rename it Hell. These people just amaze me at their complete non-caring obtuseness to what they're doing to this planet. Patting themselves on the back while they watch children starve and have their homes bombed out from underneath them, while they pollute all of our water, steal all of our land from us. It's like we're not even here, yeah?
We just let them get away with it.
Not in the Ukraine. They're not letting them get away with it in the Ukraine.
And that's what's really pissing me off about our media here.
Not covering it.
Not covering at all. I mean, not even reporting on it. I haven't seen, maybe buried on page 12, A12 of a section, a paragraph or a blurb about it, but nothing on what it really is, because they don't want it to happen here. They don't want to give us any ideas.
Well, they're just showing how stupid they are, because it's all over social networks. It's all over Twitter. It's all over Facebook. I don't think you can be on there and not have it hit your feed. Something. Unless they're filtering.
So why, as a rationally thinking sane person, you wouldn't say to yourself, if they're not showing me this on TV, why? I mean, once you start investigating, you're going to get really pissed off before you come to the realization that you've been lied to the whole time.
Yeah.
The heck is that?
My phone. Talk for a second.
Sure. Because I did not have anything planned. I'll say a joke, though. I can tell a joke. How many cops does it take to change a light bulb? Give you all a minute to think about that one.
You got the wrong number.
None. They beat it because the room's black.
You got the wrong number.
That was my one joke for the day. I don't have any more of them.
Hang up, Mama.
So I got Jimmy back here with the wrong number. I'm sorry about that. And if I knew he was going to leave me like that, I would have had a story up here. In fact, I'm going to do that from now on. I have a story up here, so if he ever walks away with his dog or something, I can take care of this and read something out here. But we've got 5 minutes left of the show. And we started 5 minutes late, so I apologize for that. Back here. And again, I am so sorry I had no story up here on the back burner.
Man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump away like that either, dude. I wasn't expecting that phone to ring either. This is live
I had
radio,
no story.
folks.
Yeah, I had no story up on the thing or anything.
We're down to 5 minutes.
All I did was just told a lame joke.
That's cool. Yeah, I apologize to everybody. I did not intend for that phone to ring like that and do any of that stuff. So, but we should.
Was that a real answering machine?
Yeah.
Was that a real answering machine?
Yeah.
I didn't know people still had those things.
Oh yeah, I made sure I got a digital one.
Did you put your bumper sticker on your car today?
Shut up. You know, I actually had plans for that bumper sticker, but I think we're going to put them in the trash. I do want to send that envelope in though. I took a picture of that, put it up on Facebook, and because there's no return address or anything on
it. No.
Just a
and for the backstory, for any of the readers that can't see it, the envelope was ready for Hillary, and it was looking for campaign donations. And somebody wrote on the envelope, "Ready for Hillary to go to jail," and is going to mail it back to the campaign headquarters with a minutes of the Benghazi hearing.
Yeah, I was going to do that, but damn, there's a bunch of them, man. It's like 65 pages.
You'd have to put more than a couple of stamps on that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they know all the. I was thinking about highlighting a couple of good things and just printing it up on one sheet, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Throw in a Federal Reserve note, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
A Bitcoin.
Yeah. No way. You know how much them things. Well, they're not worth so much no more. One of their guys went to jail. They got him hooked up for some crap on Silk Road. And I guess the coin took a hit today, so it's not worth as much as it was yesterday.
You've got governments, though, that are willing to take that now.
It's an effing scam.
Well, I know that, but, think about PayPal. PayPal has been doing it for, 10 years?
It's just digital currency. Same thing the Fed's doing.
Digital currency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the Fed, man, we got to jump back to the first story, man, about whole China shit. And the debt ceiling going, man, it doesn't matter. The debt ceiling doesn't matter, people. The reason that congressman slipped and said that is because the Fed is now majority owned by China. All of the banks that make up the Fed, their majority stockholders are Chinese patriots, Chinese nationals, Chinese banks.
And why?
Chinese government.
And why would they keep buying unless there was an ulterior motive behind it?
Exactly. They can turn off the tap anytime they want.
But, why would you keep buying worthless debt that is never, ever going to get fully paid back unless you knew something that we didn't?
Yeah. Down to the last minute here. I'm going to throw this out really quick. China today canceled all cash transactions in the country. That was a little blurb I saw. I didn't dig into it very far. I'll get back to it on Wednesday.
Delayed them.
Delayed them? Oh, okay.
Delayed them. The actual verbiage was delayed them, not cancel them, because people were picking up on those words. I did see all the thread about that today.
Okay. We'll see what happens. What do you want to leave the folks with, man?
Get your binoculars out, because there's a lot of great sights to be seen in the stars the next couple days.
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of great things out there to be seen. Get up before the sun gets up and look at Venus.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah, peace out, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday. UCY.TV.